Welcome everyone. This is Unit 3.7, the final unit of Module 3, and today we're going to bring everything together. Throughout this module, we've exploring what smart labs are, how to set them up, and how to operate them with vocational education and training centers. In this last unit, we're focusing on a critical question. How do you take a European framework like Intercomp and actually make it work in your specific local context? This is about translation, not just language, but meaning. So let's get started. Before we dive in, let me walk you through what you'll be able to do by the end of this session. The key idea here is that adaptation is essential for meaningful implementation. The Intercom framework is a powerful tool, but it only works if you make it your own. By the end of this unit, you will be able to understand the full Intercom framework, its 3 areas, 15 competencies, and 442 learning outcomes. Assess institutional relevance, thinking about what matters for your students, your industry partners, and the regional priorities where you work. Map existing activities to competencies so you can see what you've already been doing well and where the gaps are. Adapt learning outcomes to your cultural, linguistic, and national VET context. Develop assessment tools, specifically portfolios and documentation methods. And finally, create implementation plans for curriculum integration and stakeholder engagement. These are the practical, actionable skills. Keep them in mind as we move through this content. Let's start with the foundation. What exactly is Intercom? Intercomp, short for the Entrepreneurship Competence Framework, was developed by the European Commission as a reference framework for entrepreneurship education. It is structured around 4 key components: 3 competence areas, 15 competencies, 8 proficiency levels, and 442 learning outcomes. Now, 442 learning outcomes sounds like a lot, and it is, but the framework is designed to be used selectively and not exhaustively. You don't need to cover all of them. You choose what's relevant for your context. The 3 competence areas are ideas and opportunities. This is about spotting opportunities, creativity, vision, valuing ideas, and ethical and sustainable thinking. Resources. This covers self-awareness, motivation, mobilizing resources, financial literacy, and mobilizing others. And into action, taking initiative, planning, coping with uncertainty, working with others, and learning through experience. Think of these 3 areas as a journey. You start by seeing possibilities, and then you gather what you need. And finally, you act. Let's look at the first competence area in more detail. Ideas and opportunities contains 5 competencies, and these form the foundation for discovering and exploring value creation potential. Spotting opportunities, creativity, vision, valuing ideas, ethical and sustainable thinking. An important note: these competencies are interrelated and should be treated as parts of a whole. You won't find them working in isolation in real learning environments. The second area is resources, and it focuses on personal, material, and non-material assets required to turn ideas into actions. It also contains 5 competencies: self-awareness and self-efficacy, motivation and perseverance, mobilizing resources, financial and economic literacy, and last, mobilizing others. These 5 competencies are essential for gathering the necessary internal and external elements to succeed. The third and final area is into action. These competencies focus on taking action to turn ideas into reality. Competencies include taking the initiative, planning and management, coping with uncertainty, ambiguity and risk, working with others, and last, learning through experience. These 5 competencies enable learners to turn ideas into action through practical execution and collaboration. Now that we know the 15 competencies, let's talk about how learners develop them over time. The Intercom progression model has 8 levels, grouped into 4 stages. Foundation, discover and explore. Here learners focus on discovering their qualities, potential and interests. Intermediate, experiment and dare. Learners focus on critical thinking and experimenting with creative value. Advanced, improve and reinforce. Learners improve their skills for turning ideas into action and take on increasing responsibility. And expert, expand and transform. At this stage, learners deal with complex challenges in a constantly changing environment. They develop new knowledge, achieve excellence, and transform practices. The key insight here is that the progression model does not lay down a linear sequence that every citizen must follow. Proficiency can develop in different ways for different competencies. Not all learners need to reach the highest level in all competencies. Your job is to decide what level is appropriate for your students. This is a really important conceptual point, so I want to spend a moment on it. Intercom learning outcomes are provided as a reference for different purposes, not as a normative statement to be directly transposed into learning activities or used to measure student performance. They are a basis for developing specific learning outcomes that are fit for your specific context. How can you use them? In 4 ways. Curricula design as a reference for developing programs in formal education and training, for program inspiration in non-formal learning contexts to inspire the creation of programs, for pedagogy guidance to guide the definition of tailored pedagogies, assessment methods, and learning environments, and for performance indicators as a basis for developing performance indicators. The Intercom framework itself acknowledges entrepreneurial learning can hardly be reduced to fixed pre-specified statements of learning outcomes since it deals with the creation of value that does not exist prior to the entrepreneurial learning process and cannot be foreseen in abstraction. What this means for us, learning outcomes should be adapted to your specific context, not copied directly from the framework. This is not a constraint, it's an invitation to be creative and contextually relevant. Let me show you a concrete example of how learning outcomes develop across the 8 levels, using the competence spotting opportunities. At Foundation, Level 1, I can find opportunities to help others. At Foundation Level 2, I can recognize opportunities to create value in my community. At Intermediate Level 3, I can proactively look for opportunities to create value. At Intermediate Level 4, I can identify opportunities to solve problems in alternative ways. At Advanced Level 5, I can judge opportunities for creating value and decide whether to follow this up. At Advanced Level 6, I can redefine the description of a challenge to find alternatives. At Expert Level 7, I can spot and quickly take advantage of an opportunity. At Expert Level 8, I can define opportunities where I can maintain a competitive advantage. Now, notice how the progression moves from basic recognition at Foundation to strategic identification and exploitation at Expert. Focus on building skills progressively and decide which level is realistic and appropriate for you. Here, the same progression, this time for creativity. Level 1, I can think of different ways to solve problems. Level 2, I can imagine new ideas that could respond to needs. Level 3, I can test my ideas to find out if they work. Level 4, I can develop several ideas that create value. Level 5, I can develop ideas that create value for my team. Level 6, I can transform ideas into solutions for others. Level 7, I can challenge conventional practices to create new value. Level 8, I can integrate different perspectives to generate new ideas. Creativity develops from basic problem solving at Foundation to innovative thinking and challenging conventions at Expert. Build creative skills progressively. I want to highlight this particular competence, coping with uncertainty, ambiguity, and risk, because it is especially relevant for VET students navigating rapidly changing labor markets. Notice that at the expert level, there are more learning outcomes per level, which signals the complexity and richness of this competence at high proficiency. At level 1, I am not afraid of making mistakes while trying new things. Level 2, I explore my own ways to achieve things. Level 4, I can discuss the role that information plays in reducing uncertainty. Level 5, I can actively look for different sources of information to reduce ambiguity. Level 6, I can find ways of making decisions when information is incomplete. Level 7, I can pull together different viewpoints to take informed decisions. Level 8, I can make decisions evaluating different elements in uncertain situations. Expert level, I can set up appropriate strategies for collecting and monitoring data. I can create robust plans to respond to foreseeable events. I can design contingency plans to respond to unforeseeable events. This competence is critical. In Libya, Morocco, and Tunisia, where our partner institutions are working, young people face significant labor market uncertainty. Building this competence explicitly into your Smart Lab programming is a direct response to that reality. Now we get to the heart of this unit. The Intercom framework is intentionally broad and comprehensive. It's designed to be adapted. Here are the 5 principles that guide adaptation, particularly in an AMC context in Tunisia, Morocco, and Libya. Principle 1. Tailor to your purpose. Principle 2. Not all competencies need equal emphasis. Principle 3. Prioritize based on local needs. Principle 4. Consider your target group. And lastly, Principle 5. Align with national VET frameworks. Remember, adaptation is not optional. It is essential for meaningful implementation. The key words are tailor, prioritize, and align. Let's ground this in the specific context of our 3 partner countries. In Tunisia, public expenditure on human capital is at 21.1%. The key challenges include skill mismatches and a lack of quality employment. This means that Intercom competencies around financial literacy, spotting opportunities, and coping with uncertainty are particularly urgent. In Morocco, we have upper middle income status, and Morocco serves as a bridge between Europe and Africa. However, there is a heavy reliance on low value-added activities and the informal economy. Here, competencies around mobilizing resources, vision, and working with others can help learners transition toward higher value work. In Libya, youth unemployment stands at 51.4%. Vocational education is often undervalued, and the focus must be on improving TVET quality and supporting private sector development. Competencies around taking the initiative, motivation and perseverance, and learning through experience are foundational. When you design your Smart Lab program, this contextual reality should shape every decision you make about which competencies to prioritize and at what level. Now let's talk about the practical exercise that every VET center should do before developing anything new: mapping existing activities to Intercom competencies. In this slide, you can find an example. The key guide questions to ask yourself is: what competencies are already being developed, even if they aren't named as such? Where are the gaps? Which competencies are entirely missing? Which competencies are most relevant to the technical fields your students are entering? What levels are appropriate for the current stage of your students? This mapping exercise is not about criticism, it's about clarity. Most vet centers are already doing entrepreneurship education. They just haven't always called it that or made it explicit. Once you've mapped your existing activities, the next step is to select your priority competencies, the ones you'll actively focus on developing in your Smart Lab. There is a simple framework for making this decision, built on 4 criteria: relevance, student needs, demand, and capacity. Let me give you 2 practical examples. For a manufacturing vet program, high priority is planning and management, coping with risk, teamwork. Medium priority is spotting opportunities, creativity, and financial literacy. On the contrary, for a social entrepreneurship program, the high priority is ethical thinking, vision, mobilizing others, while the medium priority is working with others, taking the initiative. The right selection for your institution will depend on a combination of all 4 criteria. There is no universal answer. Once you've selected your priority competencies and identified the relevant learning outcomes, you need to adapt those learning outcomes for your local context. Here are 5 strategies for doing that. We have translation, contextualize, simplification, integration, and sequencing. These strategies can be used in combination. For example, you might translate a learning outcome, then simplify it, then integrate it with another one. The goal is always the same. The learning outcomes should feel natural and meaningful to your students, not just like a translated European document. A key part of implementing Intercomp in your Smart Lab is documenting what happens and doing so in ways that are practical and accessible. Assessment in entrepreneurship education is different from the traditional assessment. You're not testing knowledge recall, you're capturing a process. There are 3 core documentation methods: notebooks, photos and videos, and lastly, audio. These methods can be used individually or in combination. The most important principle is that documentation should serve learning, not just compliance. It should help students reflect on their own development. If you're using photo or video documentation in your Smart Lab, and I strongly encourage you to, here is a practical short list to guide what you capture: setups, wide-angle context, medium group, close-ups of hands, working with specific tools, close-up of faces, capturing emotion, engagement, and overhead. Why does this matter? Because these images tell a story about learning that portfolios alone can't tell. They provide evidence of a process and not just an outcome. And in the context of Intercom, where the journey is as important as the destination, that distinction is crucial. None of this works without your staff. Let's talk about what educators need to be able to do. There are 5 key development areas for successful Intercomp implementation. Understanding Intercomp, facilitation skills, assessment methods, workshop design, and language use. The role of the facilitator is particularly important. The most powerful role adults can assume is that of a facilitator and mentor, encouraging, guiding, sharing, but ultimately allowing learners to develop processes and reach conclusions on their own. Mentors provide general support and motivation, facilitating teamwork and problem solving. They act as sounding boards, fellow brainstormers, and timekeepers. This is a different role that the traditional teacher takes practice, and that's why staff development is not optional. Let me now give you a realistic picture of what implementation looks like over time. This is the 3-year roadmap based on best practice. On year 1, we have foundation, staff training, mapping existing activities, selecting priority competencies, and developing assessment tools. This is the preparation phase. You're building the conditions for everything else. On year 2, we have piloting. integrated course pilots, smart lab workshops, and refining assessment. This is where you put your plans into practice and learn from what doesn't work. Expect to iterate. Year 3 is expansion. Full program expansion, additional staff training, and developing a sustainability plan. But now you have evidence of what works in your context. In the future, we have institutional strategy fully aligned with national frameworks. Intercomp is no longer a project. It's part of how you work. And the key message is don't try to do everything at once. A sustainable implementation is a phase 1. Let me come back to the facilitator role because it deserves its own moment. A facilitator in a smart lab is not just a lecturer. There is someone who is encouraging, guiding, sharing, but ultimately allowing children to develop processes and conclusions of their own accord. In practice, this means using inquiry-based approaches, modeling comfort and uncertainty, making language choices, using phrases like I notice and I wonder, rather than evaluative statements. This shift from teacher to facilitator is probably the most challenging part of implementing intercomp in VET contexts. It requires trust, patience, and ongoing professional development. But it is also what makes Smart Lab learning genuinely transformative. The goal of everything we've covered today is not just to run a successful pilot, but to embed Intercomp into the DNA of your institution, so that it continues beyond the PULSE project funding period. Here are 6 strategies for long-term sustainability. Institutionalization, staff continuity, resource development, community of practice, external recognition, and industry validation. The PULSE Project Sustainability Plan specifically states that each VET school's plan will encompass specific MOUs and agreements with stakeholders to ensure the utilization of smart lab spaces and action plans that extend beyond technical training. We're now at the practical application of this unit. This exercise asks you to develop your own Intercomp implementation plan for your VET center. Of course, it's optional, but I suggest you take some time to reflect. This exercise has 3 parts, each taking around 15 minutes. Part A is context analysis. Answer these questions for your institution. Part B is implementation strategy. Outline your approach. Part C is sustainability planning. Think long term. Take your time with this. There are no wrong answers, only more or less contextually appropriate ones. You've now completed the synchronization for Unit 3.7. Well done. Your immediate next step is to complete the 5-question summative quiz on the course platform. You need a score of 80%. That's 4 out of 5 questions to pass. The quiz checks your understanding of the Intercomp framework and the key adaptation principles we've covered today. After that, bring your reflection exercise work to our live sessions, where we'll discuss your implementation plans as a group and refine them together. That's the end of Unit 3.7 and the end of Module 3. Thank you for your engagement throughout this module. We've covered a lot of ground, from setting up smart labs to understanding the Intercomp framework in depth to thinking seriously about how to adapt it for your local reality. The work you're doing matters. You're building learning environments that give young people the skills, the confidence, and the mindset to create value for themselves, for their communities, and for their countries. We look forward to seeing your implementation plans in the synchronous sessions. You can follow the PULSE project at PULSE4VET on social media and find all resources at pulseforvet.com. Thank you and see you.